Now more than ever, it feels very important to me to preserve food. Right here, I have 7 quart-sized mason jars filled with chicken thighs and a teaspoon of salt. That's it. I'm going to pressure can these for 75 minutes. Then the jars will be full of its own broth, the lids will be sealed, and I can stick these jars on the shelf. These are crazy times, and I hope this gives you a little inspiration to preserve food as well. It's time for me to get my jars in the pot, but I want to quickly tell you the steps I took up until this point. I cleaned the chicken, I washed the jars, added water to the pressure canner pot. I put the chicken in the jars, added salt, cleaned the rims of the jars with vinegar, poured the rest of the vinegar in the pot of water, and I put the lids on the jars. This is an all-American canner, and it requires you to put some oil around the rim of either the lid or the pot, so that's what you just saw me doing. Now I'm going to take my time and get the pot lid secured so that we can have a safe canning session. After the pot got hot enough, I allowed it to start venting steam, and I let that happen for 15 minutes before I put my 10-pound weight on. As you can probably hear, everything in the pot is starting to rock and roll. Now I'm just going to let some time pass, and I'm waiting for this weight to start to jiggle. I can hear that it's almost time, and the pressure gauge is showing that it's reached 10 pounds of pressure, and here we go. It's jiggling. I watch and I wait to make sure it's jiggling 1 to 4 times per minute, and then I know it's time to start my timer. And just like that, they are done. You'll notice the water is a little cloudy. That means a little bit of the broth has siphoned out of the jar and into the water, but it's perfectly fine. They have all sealed beautifully. These will sit on the counter for about 24 hours, and then I'm going to take the rings off the jars. I don't put my jars on the shelf with the rings on it because it could give a false seal. If for any reason the seal of the lid to the jar is compromised, I want to know it's compromised. I don't want the ring to be holding it down, faking me out. I was hoping to catch one of the jars sealing and making that ping sound, but they were all sealed by the time I took them out the pot. That's the moment when the little button in the middle of the lid pops down. Before I could take the jars out of the pressure canner, I did have to wait for the pressure level to come down to 0, but as you can see, the jars are still boiling. I mentioned before that in the canning world, canned chicken is referred to as ugly chicken. And it is ugly, but it is so good. It's just simply cooked in its own juices and with a little bit of salt. Remember, I didn't add any water, so all the juices you see in there came from the chicken. These are whole bone-in chicken thighs, so naturally there's going to be some fat. You'll notice it's all sitting at the top, and I'm going to show you what the jars look like after they completely cool off. It's the next day, and as you can see, the fat has solidified. Some have a thick layer of fat, while others have just a little thin layer. Once you open the jar, it's easy to just scoop out the fat if you want to. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the juices from the chicken have solidified into a gel. And if you know bone broth, you know that is like 100% collagen, gut healing goodness. Remember, I used whole skin on, bone in chicken thighs. So this essentially made bone broth. Anyhow, once it's time, I'm going to take the rings off. I'll get the jars rinsed off and cleaned up so I can put them on the shelf. But I hope you've been inspired to preserve some food. We live in uncertain times, and it's never too late to start.